Hello, hello, hello. This is the Copy Who Show. I am the Copy Who producer, Paul the producer. Hello, how are all of you? It was since Friday that I did the last recording of this. I think last week I went on Tuesday and Friday. And it just varies depending on what I'm doing. Today I felt like I had a lot of things built up in my show notes, and so I was like, I'll just go for it. We'll see how it goes. I do have a lot of things on there to talk about. Hopefully it will be interesting for you. And I'm still going with the long format show. I have some disappointment that not more people aren't watching this, but I have ideas to make more people tune in, but I'm not taking the initiative to do it. I'm just focused on sitting here and doing a good show, and I feel like if I keep going, if I keep staying regular, there will be some kind of inflection point where things start to take off, but I need to be more diligent about putting it out there more and stuff like that. What's going on? Yeah, I sniffled. I was just in my kitchen sneezing a bit. I'm not very happy with the geoengineering that's constantly going on in the skies. I would even wipe my nose now if I had a tissue, dagnabbit. Ah, well, never mind that. Doesn't matter. I'll just let it drip all over my face. My mom has been praising me a lot, starting yesterday when she first saw me, because it was Saturday morning. I shaved my head and I trimmed up all of my facial hair because it was all scraggly and grown out here on my throat. And so she's just very much into me staying well groomed, and I guess that's okay. Nothing's wrong with that. I appreciate that my mom is looking out for me, looking sharp. It's also, I kind of like the scraggy look because I'm part hippie at heart. In some good ways, I think. Alrighty. Yeah. So I still have some changes on the way here that I'm excited to implement. I will just keep talking about it a little bit. The riser here should arrive any day, and I was thinking about going Saturday and buying a 65-inch television here. I'm a little scared. When I get that television, I'm going to be sitting in the same spot, but this TV is probably going to come out to here, and so my microphone is literally going to be blocking the TV, and I know some of the things down on the table here might be blocking the TV. I might actually put a little container here eventually that will have my water and drinks there and whatnot for looks and whatnot. And I don't know how that'll work out with the other little characters I have there, but I'm looking forward to this. It's also going to eat up a lot of this space in here. I'm going to very much cover all this stuff above the TV with this TV. I'm going to have some kind of animated thing there. It might be a fish tank. Yeah, I'm still copying somebody. Yeah, so I'm a little worried about that. I'm curious to know what Copy thinks, because yeah, you have an opinion about this, because pretty much this is like your format here, and you and Jules do an amazing job on your own thing, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can keep moving it forward to make it better and better as I go. I remember back here, as a matter of fact, this blue screensaver coming up like that. I don't know what you call that. I used to have blue flames, and I wish I could have continued those blue flames, but it was not meant to be. I couldn't get a response from the guy who invented those blue flames, and so I found this instead, and I think it's cool, and I found this animated background. And so I'm just gonna keep working on. I'm nervous before I make a big improvement. I'm like, hey, I hope this works right. Like, I hope I'm not overdoing it or something. Anyway, let me continue on. I have several things I want to talk about. And it's from Little Kid Drinking, a.k.a. Sovereign Brah. Rian Stone. Yeah, I have some things to say about Rian Stone today. But you know what was funny? I have been attending church with my parents lately because I figure, hey, as a family, we're not going to be able to do this for much longer. So I've been going and doing that. And there are these guys in this group there. I don't know how to define the group, but they're called Knights of Columbus, and they help the church. And so this one dude who's the boyfriend of my mom's friend came up afterwards and said there was some little kid taking First Communion yesterday, which is like the little bread you take. It's called communion, the Eucharist, the body of Christ, the body and blood of Christ in the Catholic Church. And so this little kid took the bread and ate the bread. And then the little kid took the chalice with the wine in it. And instead of taking a sip, the kid chugged down the whole glass of wine. And I thought that was funny. And what not only did I think that was funny, I thought, dang, I'm surprised I didn't do that when I was little, because I was an obnoxious little guy. And I don't know, I was an altar boy too at that same church. And I could just imagine me being the type to be like, I'll drink this whole bottle of wine. I'll show you. I'm totally missing the point of what it is and how you're supposed to have some reverence for everything they're doing. But the kid wasn't doing it to be inappropriate. I think the kid was just like, okay, that's what I do. And, it made me wonder if the kid got a buzz. So I figured I'd relay that short story to you. It's amusing if you're Catholic. It's amusing because you're not supposed to drink the whole glass of wine. Anyhow, moving on. There's a very funny clip here I'm going to pull up for you. And it's I just have to like track it down here a little bit. I couldn't link it because Facebook is fucking annoying and weird. Yes, but I have it here now, and I will I will show it to you. It's rather goofy. Whee! Okay. Yeah, so now where's my little monitoring window? So it always has the monitoring window, but not now. Okay. Whatever. Output, whatever. I bet you it'll just come up randomly at some time when I'm doing this, because that's the way it always seemed like it worked in the past. Anyway, I digress. Let me just zoom this out to be the whole screen here. So, oh, dang it. See, I like it when I can control it a certain way. And so, oh, yeah, white sidebars. Really, Facebook? That's so fucking dumb, white sidebars. That is so aesthetically fucking stupid of you to do that when you blow this up big on the screen that it's white on the sides. Burns more energy, I'll tell you that much. Oh, here's my little monitoring screen over here. Let me move it out of here over to where I kind of, it does help me out a little bit. So anyway, this is funny because this is just, this is Miley Cyrus talking, and then it's a little kid from The Shining. And some of you who are familiar with The Shining, well, you'll just get how they sound. So Miley Cyrus sounds like the kid on The Shining. Here we go.
Journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
And he's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
That's funny. One more time, actually. Oh, hey.
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
And he's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
The journey is the part that you remember anyways.
I'm a man and I can't even get that kind of horse shit out of my voice. What is up, Miley? Yeah, like she is a talented woman, definitely the way she sings. I heard her singing on Stern once where she was singing, I think, either a song from Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac. Anyway, she sounded like Stevie Nicks, and it was very good. I was like very impressed. But she doesn't sing softly very well. And so this just illustrates, I'm disturbed by this, actually. One more time.
Journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
And he's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
How do you even get a kid to act like that on the movie?
Daddy's not here, Mrs. Torrance. The journey is part of the journey.
She just sounds horrendous with her talking voice. How does that even happen? She's got a woman's voice. She's famous for being a woman, a sexy woman, and she has that. Holy crap, Miley Cyrus, your voice. Worth showing everyone, in my opinion. Nothing super deep, just amusing as hell. And the comparison between that little kid, Danny, on the movie The Shining, brilliant. I must say, I give it one explosion and one bash. Is that what we're calling bash? It's called Rock Stinger, actually. That's what the title of it is. Rock Stinger is what it says. Rock Stinger, because it stings. Yes, I will move on now. Won't I? Chase, a.k.a. Sovereign Brah, in a very interesting interaction. I do recall enjoying this. I'm actually liking this guy. This guy has become somewhat popular as of late because he was on the show whatever, and he was spitting some wisdom on there, and so now he's on with Tim Pool, my fellow Beanie brother, and I like what he has to say. But let's just actually, before I play the video, let's come over here and let's just read the tweet. My take on Mark of the Beast, COVID and the vaccines, the New World Order, the Antichrist, and transhumanism. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? And I will preface it by saying I agreed with what he's saying, and I thought it was very interesting as he brought it up, especially because there are amazing parallels between revelations in the Bible and... Oh, so I did the sound effect and okay. That's why I need a monitor. I tell you what, it should be like over there off screen because I'm always like looking in that direction, and it would just be really easy if it were between these two windows here. Anyway, Tim Pool, let's see what I'm talking too much and not playing this enough.
I'm already preparing myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially to literally be cut off from civilization because the Bible, I see all this biblical prophecy coming true.
Not only you, dude. I've been doing things. I know people who are doing things, and we're extremely nervous about the way certain things are going. And I'm not going to even divulge everything I'm doing for my own protection, various reasons. And there's much more I need to do, but I'm not doing everything I should be doing. It's crazy, though. Let me just say again, the parallels I see unfolding in reality, society, between reality and society and revelations in the Bible. So let's come back here and listen more.
What'd you say?
I said we're half doing that too.
Yeah, we are. And I see all this biblical prophecy coming true, and it says the Antichrist will rise, and anybody who doesn't worship him is getting cut off from the global economy. I'm like, okay, check. Everybody who gets the mark of the beast is going to hell. That's what the Bible tells us. I will never get that, so I'm mentally preparing myself
the problem
to
with
be
this
cut
is,
off.
It's funny he's saying that. I mean, like, I'm preparing as well, but I'm sound more pissed off than this guy. Like, if you know me in my personal life and we have this discussion, I'm much more rattled to the core sometimes than I show on here. And the times I have become overly unrattled on here, I don't put it up because the parasites are out there wanting to exploit me for like mental illness because I disagree. And so that's just the story of my life.
you can go back every decade and find people saying exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
In the exact same way.
For sure.
So it's like...
But you can't go back every decade and find companies filing patents like Microsoft filed in April of 2020.
You're not claiming that the COVID-19 vaccine is the mark of the beast.
No,
but
I'm
what
not.
you're saying is like...
See, Tim Pool's like, which patent? It tells me that Tim Pool, he's got some knowledge, but he's not completely like aware of what's going on in every respect. Patent 060606. I believe that's the number on it, and so creepy.
It's a precursor or a warning.
It's
or
the
a
COVID
step,
vaccine,
an incremental.
It was
step.
like a prototype. It was like a cultural prototype for the mark, in a sense.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Because they are, like I've said to my parents even, and they don't buy it, they're domesticating us for much deeper levels of control over our lives. And not only will our transactions be tracked, every single physical action we take, where we go, what we do, will be like a transaction that translates into a social credit score that will either free us to move around and do more by being a compliant, good person who doesn't object to anything, or be very confined into one tiny little geography. I've been ranting for years to my dad about how we are in the end of autonomous movement, and I've been trying so hard to get him to understand that what I'm saying is real, and I'm not the only one just spouting crazy stuff. It's hard to imagine when you've grown up freely in the United States. You're a 77-year-old now. You came over here at 14, and you have this idea for your nearly the majority of your life since coming here: freedom, abundance, autonomous movement. It's extraordinary.
Saying that the COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast. I'm saying they use this problem reaction solution paradigm to
actually I prefer when David Icke refers to it as no problem reaction solution, because there's no problem. They're just creating one out of thin air so that they can train you into what it is they're doing.
How people are going to respond to tyrannical mandates, to see whether or not people will accept them or if they'll reject them. And they're using.
Oh, yes. It's so overbearing, tyrannical mandates, seeing how people react. We're a big experiment. We're a psyop. I always say rape of the mind, rape of the mind. What do you mean rape of the mind? The book, Rape of the Mind. I have it on that wall somewhere over there. I should actually bring it over here and just grab it every time I refer to it. Like, read this. It's a book of psychology, and it's not as harsh as the title sounds, except that there is a rape of the mind going on with human beings right now, more so ever than in history. And this author of this book got it in like 1954 when it was published. This was preceding the internet. This was preceding, it was like in the early days of television, and early days, you had only print media back then. And now it's like the idea rape of the mind on steroids. Believe me.
These pandemics, the solutions to them, they're using all of this to push us towards a new world order system. The transhumanism angle when it comes to the end times, I think to me, that's the one that I look out for the most, because I believe
transgenderism is the pretext to transhumanism. They are just making us, what they are doing, okay, these globalist elites, they want to destroy families because strong families have a way of maintaining control and power in society. And by doing that, you attack social structures, social conventions with people. And so you infuse something like transgenderism and an ideology that is very toxic to go along with it. And it serves as a great pretext to just wipe out these long-lived social conventions for humanity and people. Mortifying, actually, because what they want to make is a homogenized human being where there is no gender, men and women become boring, and they won't even be called men and women at that time. And then you have these very boring, homogenized people who are brainwashed and easy to control.
The promise of the Antichrist will be basically Neuralink.
And anyone who wants to ridicule me, especially in my own life, and try and take advantage of the situation because of what I'm saying, you'll live through it anyway. And someday you'll be like, oh my God, he was right. And I totally exploited him to take advantage. I exploited this truth and it's ruined our lives. And that's the truth. That's reality. And you'll have to live through it, the misery of going through it. And even still, some of these people, they're so prideful and they're so brainwashed that no amount of evidence, even the whole fucking manifestation of the reality, will not bring them to a moment that is like a coming to God moment where like, oh my God, I was wrong. And that humility is key to me with regard to your salvation, honestly. Humility and discernment. But if you're just going to be prideful and you need to be right for the sake of being right when you're not right, that's pride at work. That's the poison of pride. And so many people are brainwashed and invested in that sinful notion of pride right now. It's just, pride has been on my tongue a lot lately because I've just recognized what people are doing. And I'm not saying I'm not a corrupted person. I am a corrupted person. I have seen since a very young age things that have happened along the way to compromise my moral integrity. And that's why I'm trying to be humble about it. I repent every single day now in my life. And I recommend other people do that too. It's an exercise in humility. And so I'm going to, I'm teaming up with people who are getting what I'm saying now. Like, you get the humility in what I'm saying, even though some of the things I'm saying sound crazy because you're not familiar with them. You haven't like discerned the dots and tied the strings between the dots to figure it out yet. Your existence depends on discovering the truth. And hopefully for a lot of you, you won't make horrible mistakes before you discover the truth, because discovering the truth is going to help you from this moment on go forward and be a much wiser person as a result of it.
Hey, if you get this stuff implanted into your body, you'll be able to live forever and you'll have godlike intelligence.
Yes.
Yep.
Right? That's the promise of transhumanism.
Yes.
That is the exact same promise that the serpent gave to Eve in the garden when he tempted her with the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He said, surely you will not die. God is just trying to hide this godlike knowledge from you. Just take it and then you'll be like God.
So yes, I really like this guy. His name on here is Sovereign Brah, and I think his real name is Chase. I don't know his last name, but that last point he makes about transhumanism and what it offers you in the way of like pseudo godliness. What a temptation to try and get people to do these things, to like wed their biology with silicon. That's really scary. That parallel between the serpent and Eve in the Garden of Eden is absolutely fucking fascinating. And it gives me a super philosophical boner. And I shouldn't put it that way if I want people to take me seriously. But I do get sort of what I might call a philosophical high when people say incredibly profound things. And I'm just like, wow, holy mackerel. I like that guy. I'm following him. He's been on several different things lately, and he's willing to speak truth to a crazy world. And so I'm keeping my eye on him, and I feel like telling him, I would encourage him to start a show. I think it would do well, and I think it would serve people well. And I just do. I just know his name is Chase, and he's Sovereign Brah, and he spits wisdom when I hear him. He had another tweet the other day where he was criticizing people who keep comparing Donald Trump to Christ, and he thinks it's blasphemous. And I'm paraphrasing him. I'm sure he could articulate his thoughts better than I can, but I absolutely agree. I'm tired of people drawing Donald Trump on the cross like he's Jesus Christ or something. Not even close. In certain respects, I think Donald Trump was running the country correctly until his fourth disastrous year. I still, I'm exhausted with him, and he's Grandpa Moderna, the father of the vaccines, and plunging us into the lockdowns. These are things that hurt us so much that I can't believe he didn't have the foresight or the wisdom not to do that. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole path of what I just started talking about, but I'm fucking sick of Donald Trump, but not nearly as sick as the worst president ever in the history of our country, I think, that we have right now. He's plunging us into hell and pretending and lying the whole way that he's not. And now I'm getting too overly political. I don't want to do that. Okay, I like Sovereign Brah. Here we have. So this is a tweet from Rian Stone, and I want to go to this right here, like this. What's going on here? Oh, yeah. Wait. I just want to make sure I have this correctly. I want to come over here with it. Okay, so in case you didn't know, any dude bro retard will be called Red Pill from now on. Thanks, Myron, Pearl, and Andrew. I think he's criticizing them for something that is just a little too over the top. And I want to see if so I responded to him. One thing I said, are they really as responsible as you say? Or are we in a super creepy environment where people become easily harshly labeled over generalizations and stereotypes, which is a little bit of what I think he's doing to these three people. I presume he means Andrew Tate. I don't know why you're going after Myron, because that's a fucking major role model there, and Pearl. And so I did make this comment to Ryan that I want to talk about. Being called Red Pill is not in essence derogatory. And it's also true that many will and have made great efforts to deride the concept. Red Pill is about objective awareness, plain and simple. It varies from topic to topic, but regardless, it's about awareness. And so Rian Stone responded to me by saying, sexual strategy, positive male identity, always was, always will be. And I think that's funny, to be honest with you. And so I responded to him by saying, always was, always will be. Wow, it sounds like a deity. The red pill is a metaphor for awareness that transcends beyond sexual strategy and positive male identity. How do you propose to contain it to that definition indefinitely? Math can do that, but this concept can't. And that's what I find to be true about both Ryan and Rollo, is they seem to very much so just want to confine the idea of red pill to the manosphere, sexual strategy, intersexual dynamics, nothing else. You can't do that, especially in this day and age, because people are grabbing any concept and warping the living shit out of it on purpose more than ever before. And I don't think society is going to be sustainable in the long run, because it's so destabilized with the idea that you can just take any concept, any word, and warp it into whatever you want it to mean. And don't misunderstand these to be huge criticisms of Ryan and Rollo. They express a lot of wisdom and insight in the things they say, and so this is not meant to be taken as some kind of attack for attention to dump on these guys. But I really feel strongly about this. Another thing Ryan is saying lately that I do feel this is dopey. And let me clarify. I watch Ryan on Saturday mornings when I work out. He has his little stream that he puts up called Red Morning. I watch that and I enjoy it a lot. Like, I'm watching it and I'll just be working out, and Ryan says some funny shit. He does say a lot of funny little things. I think if he worked at it, he could be a comedian doing stand-up comedy because it's very funny. Yeah, and that's a compliment. And I just burst out laughing. So I enjoy listening to what this guy says. He says things on Twitter where I'm like, oh my God, he fucking said that? It does shock me sometimes, the shit he comes out with when he talks. And so here we are. He has another thing that he talks extensively about in his morning show. And because I was watching it live, I wasn't able to say like, okay, I'll go straight into those 2 hours to this point and we can listen to a segment of it. I would have to rewatch the whole thing, and I'm just not willing to do it. I wish they would put a timeline on it from the very beginning when it's going live, like it started and you're an hour in, 2 hours. That way I could pick out a certain timeline when I'm watching stuff live. I was watching Rollo live yesterday, and the same is true. It's like, oh, I would like to make commentary on that, but in order to do that, when the stream's over, then I have to like start watching it again and be like, okay, where is this? Instead of being able to just mark the time. I think that's what YouTube should do, is when it's streaming, just put a count from where it started the stream and tell me how far into it he is. An hour, half hour, 63 minutes, 74 minutes, whatever. You get what I'm saying, right? So here's another thing. On the face of it, this tweet sounds dumb. And so as I was listening to Ryan talk about it on his little stream, I keep saying little stream, on his stream Saturday morning, Red Morning, I was kind of like thinking, he's making more sense when he expounds upon this. But the tweet in and of itself doesn't sound very intelligent to me. Critical thinking skills don't exist. You're either knowledgeable about a subject or you're not. Critical thinking is what you say to feel good for rationalizing stupidity. I don't get that. Like, certain people will certainly mislabel critical thinking. And so what we're going to do now is just critical thinking. I want to see what the definition is here. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in on this over here. Oh. The objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form a judgment. So the word objective there is key in this, Ryan. Like, because you're just, I know that people take the word truth and they claim things are true and they're not true, but objective, if words are supposed to mean something, and I gather they do when you have a really true understanding of the definition of a word, when you're talking about it, something being objective, and you're correct in your rationale, you are engaged in critical thinking. So of course there are going to be dodo brains who label something as critical thinking when it's really just their ideology spewing an emotional belch. And so I don't always agree with what Ryan's saying. So yeah, you have knowledge in a given area. You understand something really well, and then when you have knowledge in that area or niche, you're able to exercise your critical thinking skills extremely well. If you ask me to exercise critical thinking about quantum physics, I can't do it because I don't have the knowledge base. But that doesn't mean you just divorce yourself from the concept of critical thinking like it doesn't even exist or it doesn't matter. I get what you're saying, but critical thinking certainly does exist. And by the way, when I'm responding to Ryan on Twitter, it's not to insult him. It's not to dress him down in front of people. I'm just an intellectual myself. At least I fancy myself as one. And so I want to talk about these things with him. And I do appreciate him responding to my tweets. But he says, like, what did he say? The red pill is sexual. Always it. I'll bring it out again just because that's what I was talking about right before. Rian Stone. Oh yeah, red pill stereotypes. Coming back here to this. In case you didn't know, any dude bro retard will be called red pill from now on. Thanks, Myron, Pearl, Andrew. Like I just oh no, it's where he responded to me before. I want to go to that. He says sexual strategy, positive male identity, always was, always will be. No, you know what? Always was, always will be. The number 2. There's an indefinite, eternal secularism to mathematics. And so when you say 2 + 2 = 4, there's an indefinite. So you can't say always was, always will be. See, you're not even exercising critical thought with the language here, because sexual strategy, positive male identity, yes, I'm sure there's a praxeology and a true science to recognizing how we've evolved and interpreting things as to why and being very believable with it in the objective sense. But since it does deal with human beings in this social realm, it's not always going to be what you're saying. And I'm not knocking you personally. I feel like saying that because I'm just trying to talk about it intellectually. If I were talking to him, we could have a philosophical conversation with it, and it would be very respectful. But I do feel strongly about what I'm saying, and I'm interested in. But don't just be like artard. Like you have a way of like someone doesn't agree or someone has a dumb idea, and you express they're dumb instead of addressing the issue. And that's what some of our least favorite liberals in the world do. Yes, I believe I'm correct about this one. So what do you say to that, Ryan? I think I'm done with you for today, unless it comes up again. Let's just come over here and see what we have next, shall we? Hold on, I'm going to take a drink of my sweet water. My throat really is dry. I'm not just doing it for show. 60 plus body count. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't really have that much to like in my list today as I did the other day. Let me just come over here. Let me switch to there and go, whee! Okay, and this, let me just tell you, before we even hear what she said, I'll tell you what. I saw this and I put this aside and I didn't even listen to it because I wanted to be totally virginal when I responded to this. Because I'm just like, oh boy, I know this is dumb, but I titled it on my notes as 60 plus body count. And so I will play this now for you, and we will just see what this woman who's throwing red flags by the mere sight of her says.
You said you had your fun. What does that mean?
Oh, I was promiscuous. I mean, like
Can you give us...
Do you want a body
count? Sure, let's do body count.
50 men and then about 10 women.
God.
You said you had your fun.
God.
What does that mean?
Hold on.
Oh, I was promiscuous.
Okay, first of all, Brian the Week, get some new fucking cups. Okay, I won't go I won't go forever on the cups today, but red flag, okay? Blue hair. Red flag. Grown woman with a 60 plus body count dressing like every day is a cosplay. So you're free to do that. I'm just saying that serious people will not take you seriously if you are going to dress cosplay every single day. I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun sometimes and go out and dress up and play dress up and Halloween, whatever. I support your right as an adult to do that. I'm just saying that if you want to be taken seriously, you won't. And so I'm not a fan already. And I'm like, what are these? So these, is this a brand mic stand here? Talk about changing the subject, because it says frame on there, and I wondered if that's something Brian put on there as some kind of psychological thing, like men controlling the frame. Oh man, for fuck's sake. I'm sitting here talking about this lady. Okay, yeah, I think it was just my bad mixing, no problem. So I was talking about the ears on top, the fake ears, the blue hair, and back here it's like some yellow, and the turquoise actually is what that is. Not a fan. And the cup sucks. I know I mentioned the cup. What else do I want to say about it? Oh yeah, the frame on the mic stand. I was just wondering is that the brand of the mic stand? Let me just come over here really quick. Like so. Hold on.
I mean, like
let's pause that. We'll go to Amazon and we'll look up frame. Oh no, frame mic stands. Okay. All right. I don't see it. I don't see the one they're using. Is this Frameworks? I just want to see. Why does this matter to me so much? Because I want to see. No, that's not the same brand. So I think it's just called. I will look that up later. And it was a personal curiosity. So bear with me. Oh, no. I fucking did it again. I have to come over here and say window. And I have to say scenes. When I hit escape on the video over here, if I have the window selected on the other computer, it closes out my scenes where I mix my cameras here. Back to here, okay? I just said okay, even though I've done it less in this program than I did the last one. It was really bothering me before, and I know you mentioned something about that, right, Copy? You're like, stop saying okay after everything, and I was like, you're right. Thank you for the pointer. I will try to make that improvement. All right. Yeah, so I can't just replace it with all right either. That would be lame. And back to here. There is but one more video I will play, and this is a video from Rollo Tomassi. I haven't done anything from him for a while. And let me go like this. Whee! Okay, there he is. I like how he redesigned his studio too. I noticed that from day to day, he will change the color on the back walls a little bit, and I like that variety. That's pretty cool. Good producer here. He said the other day he's a one-man show. And I'm like, yeah, that is not easy to do, especially when I think about all the clips he's making. You're writing books, you're going places, you're doing things. You must be very busy. I hope you're giving your wife and your daughter the time and attention that they need with you as the leader of the family and as the father, because you sound very busy, man. Now, I don't have anyone else around here with me most of the time. And so I have the time, and yet I'm too lazy to cut clips from things. And when I look up someone to do it for me, I'm disgusted by the price, and I'm like, I'll just do it. And it's like, what I need, though, is a faster computer. Something that where it's like, I can make a clip here, in, out, bam, and it mixes down like that. Save, name, bam. Instead, it's like, when you mix down a video, it's like, waiting, and the longer it is, the more you're like waiting. So it's, if I ever wanted to cut anything out of a show, and I've only done that once, like the last 3.5 months, it takes so long to remix an entire show. If I take it into Final Cut and then I take out a little word or something, then you remix it down, and then the mix it's not compressed in the same way. So then you have a new file that is bigger, and it's taking up over twice the memory on the computer, plus it's in Final Cut, and it gets all fucked up. And that's one of the mistakes I made last year when I bought this computer. I didn't get enough memory for the computer. So back to here. And back to Rollo. And this is an interesting topic. The title of the video is Why NASA Wants to Remove Men from Space Missions. This is titillating me a little bit with controversy.
And I wanted to throw that one out there because I also failed to show you this one last week. Mars mission may be all female to avoid astronauts having sex during the 1.5 year journey.
God forbid.
Is it one and a half there and
hold on.
1.5 back? I would think.
God forbid men and women travel to Mars. And so does that just like jeopardize the system integrity? Like they could take the pill in outer space, couldn't they? Or would that compromise them emotionally and not make them fit for... So what if women are too emotional for the long, isolated trek to Mars? And by the way, so men and women can't fly to Mars because they might screw, but two women won't get busy with one another if they're feeling lonely? Aha! It's like prison, see? So the only reason they're disincluding men here is to be like, down with men. That's what I think anyway. Let's see what Rollo says. I watched this the other day when I put it aside, and I don't remember everything he said about it, but I want to hear. I have my own thoughts on it. Now I want to hear it.
Look at all of this, man. All this, nothing but the girls. It's nothing but girls. Girls go, yay, we can do it. You don't think the girls would like, I don't know, start scissoring or something?
Oh, that's just what I said.
Also have sex, but why don't you just say that? Why can't we just like, what's the subtext in all of this?
Oh, jackass. Let's see. So I know that
why can't we just like, what's
James
the
Cameron.
sub?
Okay, Avatar director James Cameron says Testosterone is a toxic toxin men must terminate from their system. So, brilliant filmmaker, super dumb. I mean, how could you be so intelligent? Are you just towing the Hollywood line? Is someone like stepping on your balls, saying that you must say this for some reason because of something bad you did? Because that strikes me as so fucking clueless and stupid. Like, testosterone is one of those things upon which humanity has stood on the shoulders of. When you look back, it's like served humanity exceptionally well. We would not be here today if not for testosterone. In the causal nexus since the beginning of time on Earth, James Cameron, testosterone, the manner in which it has existed. If it did not exist, you could almost certainly say there would be no James Cameron, there would be no me, there would be no fucking Rollo Tomassi. So stupid. I'm serious. Forgive me, but seriously. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. Let me try something really fast here. I just want to take this volume completely down here, and I'm gonna play this momentarily from here.
What's the subtext in all of this?
And no, I can't hear what it's saying. I'm pausing again, coming back to here, and I'm going to go like this. And we're going to put the sound back on here. I was just testing something. I couldn't hear sound playing, but I want to know if in the recording, if when I play it back, if there's going to be sound of Rollo talking there, then that means it won't be doubled up, but I can't monitor. I got to figure out how to monitor it. It might have something to do with routing in this thing, and it's my toxic testosterone stopping me from understanding it. Do you understand me? Let's go.
Subtext in this. The subtext in all of that is that men are dangerous. Testosterone, dangerous.
Yeah.
Masculinity, dangerous. Don't be judgmental.
Oh, you know what else? Estrogen alone, too weak to get to Mars. God forbid men and women fool around on a space mission. Man bad. That's all I hear when I'm thinking about this is like, now the symbol of man bad is we're going to send. So let's see if that mission, when you send a bunch of women off, if they even succeed at it. Let's see, shall we? So emotional that they are. It'll be interesting to see how they qualify for that mission.
Oh, dangerous. We need what? We're going to put all female crew on the trip to Mars, whenever that happens, right? Because the little ladies won't come back pregnant. I don't know. I think that's probably the worry, really, is like, well, the male and the female crew members might actually bang each other and then have a kid, and then we won't know what to do, and you'll be the first Martian baby.
Well, you joke around about it, but what is the real reason? Let's not pretend like with all the money and outpouring of resources you would have to front to get people on the surface of Mars, assuming that's truly possible. They could just put a vacuum and an abortion machine in there and like abortion on demand, even on the trip to Mars. It's like, oh, can you imagine that though? And they probably would keep it a secret. It would be like this horrible, sad thing. Like, you were the first child ever to be conceived in orbit, but you were aborted because patriarchy. And it would be amazing, actually, if you think about it. That and who knows if that baby would have fucked up health. That baby probably wouldn't even exist because if the conception happened at any other time, that person wouldn't even exist. So it's a very unique, special individual who would be aborted in those circumstances. How am I talking about abortion right now? Because that's very interesting. That, like if my parents waited a day beyond to have sex one day later than the act that conceived me, I wouldn't have been born. It would be like my dad's sperm would have been like blended up in the balls more or something, whatever. And whatever sperm it was that combined with my mom's one unique egg, those two that went together to make uniquely me, it would be the egg, but not the sperm that makes me. And so therefore, would it be me at all? Like, would I have any consciousness still if the same egg that became me were fertilized with another sperm from my dad? Would I still have any consciousness because of this one unique special egg that was me? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, these thoughts are so deep. How could the algorithm really fuck me? Because this shit is amazing. This is free. I'm giving it out for free. I'm spitting this amazing stuff for free. They would never let me teach this in a philosophy course in a liberal institution. And I'm so glad to be a philosopher. I'm so glad that is what seeded my mind to have such unique thoughts. It's what gives me pride, okay? And I'm not the greatest. I will confess that pride, but it's not the kind of pride where I'm taking pride in a sin. This is philosophical gift. This is a philosophical gift from God himself. He made me who I am, the unique person I am. And so that person in outer space would be miraculous and historic. And they're like, no, we can't do that. Why not? Try it. See if it can survive. See what the health is like when that kid comes back to Earth after being conceived in orbit and then flying through orbit continually for however many months it takes to get to Mars. What kind of person would be born? What kind of health would they have? You could study that thing. It's an amazing experiment. But is it going to be a hoax is really the question. When women go to Mars, is that going to be real? They're going to be like, here's this surface on Mars, and it just so happens it looks 100% exactly the same as this Arizona landscape right down here. Sure. Yeah. Oh, and others. There have been many others like that as well. Let's come back here to Rollo. And I do my shtick. I gotta shtick it up. This is how I enjoy myself. It's like I try to shoot myself out of a cannonball to be extremely weird in order to entertain, and it's free. Can you believe that? I make an ass out of myself to entertain people. You're welcome, for those of you who do appreciate it. And for those of you who are just like, oh my God, he's so stupid. I'm like, why are you watching then? Skedaddle. Go watch TikTok. If you want to grow your mind, you can be here and you will hear some insightful things, ways of thinking. It's critical thought, Ryan. It's critical thought.
But what that's saying is here's the undertones of that is that men are not to be trusted. Yes. Men are dangerous. Absolutely. Testosterone is dangerous. Men are toxic. Men will just fuck those girls on the trip out to Mars because they can't keep it in their pants.
Which is absurd because you know that they have a stringent vetting process to even get to a person that they're going to send on a mission like this. So they'll be psychologically examined from front to back, head to toe, physically examined, everything, character, moral character, what's your history, what's your political belief. And so, but men are still toxic in that context. We picked the greatest man at the top of the heap, the best man you could find, but no, toxic masculinity, toxic testosterone, bad. Man should not go to Mars first. The future is woman. The future is woman. Okay, sure. Uh-oh. I got wetness on there. I'm cleaning it up. Careful now. I'm glad it didn't go anywhere on here that's going to like penetrate a vital function, but must be careful. Can't take this and hit that on there because there's liquid in here, okay? Oh, I said okay again. I believe that's the second time I said it. I'm getting rid of that habit. It's a toxic habit. It's not testosterone induced, but it's a toxic habit.
What does that reinforce? Like, what messaging does that reinforce?
Of course.
Do you want to see that? Yeah, I do too. Was this mission failed before it left the launch pad? Yeah. So what does that reinforce? What is the messaging of those two stories reinforce? The idea that men are bad. Like to be more human is to be more female. Eliminate testosterone, feminize yourself, be a sissy cuck, right? That's what that is reinforcing. It is reinforcing.
Spot on as usual. There's nothing I can argue with here. Those are my feelings. I've realized this for a long time, independent of Rollo and what I've read in his books, what I've heard him say. I know how men are being emasculated and made to take a diminutive role in the history of the world, and it's because strong men challenge the power structure. That's probably not happening at the top, where there are the hidden hands of power that are really steering the ship and herding humanity into these disgusting realities we're going to have to live with and oppose very soon if we want to maintain any fucking modicum of personal liberty.
The idea.
The fuck is he talking about? He's just spewing his fucking masculine, toxic bullshit. His misandry, or no, his misogyny. Misandry is actually the hatred of men. What he's talking about is actually the definition of misandry, like wanting to just make men this secondary, shitty, dumb class. So generation after generation, you enculture this idea of making men more like shitheads, making them weak, cucked, without testosterone, no masculinity, feminize them, and then these weaklings. I guess men will never go to Mars. Men, how will human beings ever populate Mars if men don't go there? It'll just be like test tube shit on the surface of Mars. Boy, those people are going to be weird with the lesser gravity growing up in that. They'll have weak bones and they'll never be able to travel to Earth because their freaking bones will be so weak from the light gravity there. This makes me want to ask, how much is the gravity on Mars compared to Earth? Yes, so we will diverge for just a moment and we'll come over here to this and I will say, how much is gravity on Mars compared to Earth? Very quick answer here. 38%. So people might grow taller maybe in that environment. And if they come to Earth after growing up and being born on Mars, they will have weak-ass bones. That's what my hypothesis is. But I'm not an expert. I'm just some toxic masculine son of a bitch with an opinion. Stop him! Here we go. Back to Rollo.
That the more masculinity we have and the more testosterone on planet Earth that we have, then the less civil a society that we will have. And men can't be trusted to fly to fucking Mars because
it sounded like you said syphilis there. Go back.
That we will have.
One more.
Testosterone on planet Earth that we have, then the less civil a society that we will have.
Civilist? It sounds like you said civilist, but did you mean to say civilized? We all make mistakes.
And men can't be trusted to
all of us professional wordsmiths
make
mistakes, my good man. I just did it when I was talking about you making a mistake. I tripped over my words. It's the freaking COVID. Everyone says it's long COVID these days. So what the fuck? It's long COVID. If I ever fucking make a mistake speaking, it's long COVID. I'm getting loopy again.
Can't keep it in their pants. That's what it's reinforcing.
Yes,
men are in control,
and they have to politicize even a trip to Mars. You can't have an egalitarian view of getting to Mars or a healthy view where we cooperate and make this happen in a special way. No, you've got to politicize it. Man, bad. We're going to Mars. We're so enlightened and fucking advanced as the human race, but we still have to treat men like shit even though we're standing on the shoulders of men to get to the future. Holy fuck. On and on I go.
And women would do it better. Now, is it possible that there's first of all, this is just team woman, feminist triumphalism is what this is. Hey, we're like
maybe all female to avoid astronauts having sex during 1.5-year journey. And like you said, they'll scissor, they'll have disagreements. It's going to be a miserable trip for them. And who knows if we'll see if they have the emotional fortitude to get through such a thing.
You honestly,
on their pretend trip to Mars.
These are the chicks that are going to go to Mars. Didn't they like, I've seen a few Netflix series. I think what was Away? That was another one. It's like the female captain of the crew. And it's always, they never know what to do with those stories. They like flying them. Like if they put women in science fiction, it's always shit. Because those stories tend to focus on like the backstories of the people who are involved. There's no real plot, right? We're going to go to Mars. Okay, well, that's pretty simple. It's almost like a disaster narrative, like Titanic, the ship sinks. Okay, so we have to like make. No,
I think Rollo, in these phony fictions you're talking about, the sci-fi, the women in these movies will deal perfectly with the tragedies. Probably no one will even die. Everyone on the Alien movie died except for Sigourney Weaver, right? That's correct. And so it'll just work out. It won't be a story. It'll be the perfection that all of existence will be if women are in charge of everything on Earth. It'll be like the perfect execution of a trip to Mars. Nothing will ever go wrong. They'll squeeze all their blackheads. They will pluck all the hairs out of their nose in perfect uniformity.
Out the people in the background of the people. It has to be more like character development is actually the plot. And so that's like, oh, we need to learn about them. We're going to go back in time and see what their childhood was like. And do they have kids? And like that, like focusing on the person rather than the actual things that are going on. That's a feminine female way of writing a story, by the way.
True.
Character development. That's all female. That's women are more interested in people and men are more interested in things.
When Captain Janeway was but a woman or a girl of 12, don't you know that the school teacher, a man, of course, a man with testosterone, touched her? And I'm not making light of that. That sounds pretty bad, but that's they'd be flashing back to some kind of. And so when you see the Star Trek and the new Star Trek franchise with the child Kirk, he's like stealing cars, being totally rebellious. Na 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 na. I want to say it's like the Guns N' Roses song. It's just so stupidly predictable in such a superficial way. Tell me a good story. I'm disappointed in Hollywood these days, except I want to see that whale movie with Brendan Fraser.
These shows like that, I'm like, can we like get to the part where they fight? Can we get to the part where there's a challenge? Can we get to the part where like they land the lander on Mars? No, you got to do the flashbacks to their being traumatized by evil men as a kid. And we'll end with that. Rollo says, no. All right, then. I actually managed to go an hour right now, and they fly by, and I enjoy them, and I know there was some silly shit in here, and I know there was some funny shit. I know there was some deep shit. And if any of you really like this, I dare you to go share this with any one of the people I'm talking about on this show. That's what you can do. You can be like, Paul's talking about you, and maybe someone will be like, hey, I like what he said. Maybe I will post a link or say hi or be willing to talk to me or something. Let's have a real interaction. And like, you can vet me, but I'm not going to submit to you. I will dominate you guys. Because that's just what I've done. It's like, I want to be number one, but it's not like I want to be Mr. Number One in the manosphere. I keep hearing people say, if you want to do a podcast, start with a niche. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to bore myself to death doing one simple topic for 5 minutes. I want to sit around for an hour and talk about whatever I want. And I will end this by saying, if you have money in the bank, you might want to take some of that out right now. Not all of it. Don't totally run on the bank, but have enough to survive and hope that we can stabilize the situation. They're consolidating banks and we're heading to the central bank digital currency. Just a quick warning at the end here. We don't want to do that. That'll be the death knell for freedom. If you like this show, I ask you to like this video, share this video, go to these people I talk about and say, Paul is talking about you. Because I am. And yes, very much. I appreciate it, everyone. I do appreciate it. I had a full hour here. It was pretty good. Peace be with you all.